All right, our last section of notes before we review for the quiz. And quiz will be later on this week. So let's look at section 10.3. This should be a nice short section for you guys. Basically has some algebra involved with arcs and chords. Shouldn't be too bad. Once again, if you guys have questions, let me know. But here we go. Okay? So last time we used relationships between arcs and angles to find measures. Now we're going to recognize the relationships between arcs, chords, diameters, arcs and chords, all that good stuff. Okay, just a reminder, a chord is a segment with endpoints on a circle. Okay, so if I draw my circle here, I learned how to draw a perfect circle. Pretty cool. Okay, a chord, oh, now I'm moving it, hold on. Okay, a chord goes from any 2 points on the circle, like so. Okay. If a chord is not a diameter, just a review here, we now have up here a minor arc. So my minor arc is right here, that part, and the rest of it would be a major arc. All right. So here's our only thing we're learning today. It says that if arc FG and arc JH, they are only congruent if, now I gotta zoom in, if, and we're gonna use a different color, if FG and JH are congruent. So the arcs are only congruent if these two segments are congruent. I'll show you what I mean in this example. Okay, so check this out. I'm going to zoom in on each one. It's just easier to draw on. Okay, since 13 is congruent to 13, then we know that 79 is congruent to x. Well, what does x equal then? X equals 79. Check it out. No algebra needed. I just had to know that those two were equal. Let's move on to the other one here. Okay, now we're going to have to do some algebra, but if 14 is congruent to 14, then PQ, arc PQ is congruent to arc RS. And now I have an algebraic equation, which I'm going to zoom out for, and we're going to solve. So both of them are equal, so we have x plus 17 equals 4x plus 2. I'm going to subtract the 2. X plus 15 equals 4x. Subtract the x from both sides. That was supposed to be a subtraction sign, sorry. And we get 15 equals 3x. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X equals 5. Similar stuff we've done all year, right? We do algebra, we set two things equal, and we find x. All right, let's do another example. Okay, now we know that the arcs are equal, right? So we have this arc congruent to this arc. We must know now that those two chords are congruent. So all we do is 2x plus 4 equals 18. Subtract 4, subtract 4. 2x equals 14. Divide by 2, divide by 2, x equals, sorry, don't know what happened there. X equals 7. Over here, we can see that because 115 and 115 are equal, then 2x plus 1 is equal to 5x minus 5. Let's add the 5. 2x plus 6 equals 5x, subtract 2x, subtract 2x. 6 equals 3x, divide by 3. I'm going on to the next slide. X equals 2. Okay, hopefully you guys are getting this algebra down. Now, the last one's a little bit trickier. This is going to be our last section here. And I'm actually going to erase this stuff because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see my scribble. Okay. So, if this and this, ST and SR are equal, then this and this are equal. We'll call this X because it's the same as that X. What do all three of these add up to? They all add up to 360. 2x plus 64 equals 360. Minus 64, minus 64. 2x equals, it's going to equal 296. Divide by 2, x will equal 148. Alright, there we go. And the next one, I'm just going to siphon off like this. I'm actually going to zoom in. Okay, if, now here's another thing that we're going to learn, is that the central angle is equal to the measure of the arc as well, right? Which you guys have learned. That means that this chord and this chord are congruent, which means this equals 116, which means that x equals 116.